The Witches by Roald Dahl. Frizzled like a fritter. Part 1. All the women, or rather the witches, were now sitting motionless in their chairs and staring as though hypnotized at somebody who had suddenly appeared on the platform. That somebody was another woman. The first thing I noticed about this woman was her size. She was tiny, probably no more than 4.5 feet. She looked quite young, I guess about 25 or 6, and she was very pretty. She had on a rather stylish long black dress that reached right to the ground, and she wore black gloves that came up to her elbows. Unlike the others, she wasn't wearing a hat. She didn't look to me like a witch at all, but she couldn't possibly not be one. Otherwise, what on earth was she doing up there on the platform? And why, for heaven's sake, were all the other witches gazing at her with such mixture of adoration, awe, and fear? Very slowly, the young lady on the platform raised her hands to her face. I saw her gloved finger unhooking something behind her ears, and then she caught hold of her cheeks and lifted her face clean away. The whole lot of that pretty face came away in her hands. Look at her pretty face. It was a mask. As she took off the mask, she turned sideways and placed it carefully upon a table near us. And when she turned around again and faced us, I very nearly screamed aloud. That face of hers was the most frightful and frightening thing I have ever seen. Just looking at it gave me the shakes all over. It was so crumpled and wizened, so shrunken and shriveled. It looked as though it had been pickled in vinegar. It was a fearsome and ghastly sight. There was something terribly wrong with it, something foul and putrid and decayed. It seemed quite literally to be rotting away at the edges. And in the middle of the face, around the mouth and cheeks, I could see the skin, all cankered and worm-eaten, as though maggots were working away in there. Have a look. Isn't that just a very ugly face? There are times when something is so frightful you become mesmerized by it and can't look away. I was like that now. I was transfixed. I was numbed. I was magnetized by the sheer horror of this woman's features. But there was more to it than that. There was a look of serpents in those eyes of hers as they flashed around the audience.